Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to read a really neat story called If I Were President by Catherine Steer. And as you're listening to this story, there's an essential question I want you to think about. What would you do if you were the president? If I were the president, it would be great to be the president of the United States. If I were president, that means after a big campaign with speeches and posters and TV ads, the people would have chosen me as their leader. Years of planning and hard work would have prepared me for that day. If I were the president, I'd promise to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States because that would be my job. Now, wait a minute, boys and girls. It says I would preserve and protect, and I would defend the states. Who is I in this story? Do you have any idea? Well, if we're looking at the pictures, boys and girls, I guess I would figure out that maybe I is that little girl who's raising her hand up there. Because somebody here is talking about the story. Someone's thinking like we were. What would they do if they were the president? And did you hear some big words in there? It says, I would promise to preserve. What does it mean to preserve? When you preserve something, you keep it in its regular state, so you don't change it very much, okay? So she said she would promise to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Let's keep reading. Then I'd move to a mansion called the White House with more than 100 rooms, and I'd have to remember my new address, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. If I were the president, I'd start work early each morning in the Oval Office. Although I try to do what's best for my country, not everyone would agree with my decisions. But I'd get help making those decisions from a group of people called my cabinet. Boys and girls, is there some word there that you might not recognize? The cabinet? They said that a cabinet was a group of people who helped the president make decisions. That's a new word for you and I. Let's keep reading. If I were the president, the people would be my boss, and I'd have to find out what they wanted. It wouldn't be easy. Different people would want different things. You know, what does the text mean when it says the people would be my boss? Boys and girls, I thought the president was the boss. I think it might mean that the president listens to the people of his country. The president has to listen to different ideas from the people of the country and then make a decision that is best for the country. Let's keep reading. If I were the president, I'd be in charge of the armed forces, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Marines. And if I were the president, each year, I'd give a speech to Congress called the State of the Union. All over the country, people would be watching and listening. I would talk about how our country was doing and suggest ways to solve our problems. Boys and girls, sometimes we need to be listening for details and to think about the details we just read. Can you think of a question that might help us remember an important detail on this page we just read? Like maybe, what is the name of the speech the president gives to Congress? Do you remember what I just read? Let's see. If I were the president, it says, each year I'd give a speech called the State of the Union. So let's listen for details. Imagine creating laws for a whole country. That is something Congress and I would do together. If I were president, the agents of the Secret Service would guard me. Everywhere I'd go, they would go too. And if I were the president, I'd travel on my limousine or in my own private airplane, Air Force One. I'd meet with leaders of other nations. Maybe together we would work to improve our world. What are some other questions that can help us to recall some details that we just read, boys and girls? How about, what was the name of the president's airplane? Air Force One. All right, let's keep reading and listening for details. If I was the president, I would comfort families that had been in an earthquake, a hurricane, or flood. Then I'd help them rebuild their towns. If I were the president, one of my favorite jobs would be passing out medals to people who had done brave deeds. If I were the president, my words and picture would appear in the newspapers and magazines all over the world. Even my dog would make the headlines. If I were the president, the house I grew up in would be famous. People would ask my mom for a tour of everything, even my tree house. If I were the president, the people could only elect me twice. That's 8 years, because I would work 4 years plus 4 years. Soon a new president with different ideas would move into the White House. If I were the president, they might someday make a statue of me, like the white marble statue of Abraham Lincoln in the Lincoln Memorial, or the president's heads carved onto Mount Rushmore. Or someday, my face might show up on the country's money. Did you know President Lincoln is on the penny, President Jefferson is on the nickel, and President Washington is on the dollar bill? Boys and girls, what are some other questions we can think of to recall some details? Maybe what is the name of the president on the penny? His name was is Abraham Lincoln. Good. President Lincoln is on the penny and President Washington is on the dollar bill. And who knows, someday I just might be President of the United States. This story makes me have some other questions. Maybe a question that might come up is, what other presidents are on money? Or how about this question? Are there other people on money other than presidents? Well, boys and girls, where are we going to find out the answer to that question? Well, I've told you a lot. We might read books, and I keep showing you some of these great books I have here about our presidents. And we might look at that question online. Are there other people on money? Well, at first you might want to say, no, the only people who are on our money in the United States of America are presidents. But that really, really isn't true. So I looked it up and I wanted to see, and I found this guy right here. He's on the $100 bill, and guess what? He's not even a president. He was an inventor. His name is Benjamin Franklin. So the man on the $100 bill is an inventor. And then I saw on the $10 bill, this man, Alexander Hamilton. He is also not a president. He was Secretary of State, but he never became president. But he is on the $10 bill. And that made me think, I wonder if there are some girls on our American money. And I was shocked to see that a long time ago, there was a $1 bill called the Martha I, where George Washington's wife, Martha, was on the $1 bill. But there has not been another lady that I could find, and I was looking on the computer, as you can see, another American lady who is on any of our bills. Now, there were some ladies who were on coins, and I've got some of those coins here today. So I was looking through my drawer because I like to save coins, and I came across, let's see, the regular, and I saw this one here too. This is a $1 bill. This is Dwight Eisenhower. It's a $1. He was a president though. But for somebody who wasn't a president, and I came upon this coin, which is from many, not too long ago, but she is from a long time ago. And that is I want to say it's the Sacagawea coin. Yes, it is, Sacagawea. And this was released not too long ago. And so it's a golden coin. And you can see a picture of her on the front and the eagle on the back, and it's worth $1. So that came out of my collection. And then I have another coin here. This is a Susan B. Anthony coin. And these were made in the 1970s. And these are the women that I could find on coins. So I learned something today, boys and girls. So don't forget, when you have a question, when you read a story and it makes you think about something, you can always look for information elsewhere. You can look on your computer. And you can look in books. And I mean, I just went out to my bookshelf and look at all the great books I learned that I can read and find out more details about who is on our American money. So have fun learning, and maybe check out your coins and see who do you have. Do you have any coins that have famous women on them, or do your coins all have the presidents on them, or Franklin Roosevelt or Alexander Hamilton? So it's neat to check out and see what you have around the house. That's it for now. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.